صباح الخير جميعاً، يعطيكم العافية.
Good morning, everybody.
وأهلاً وسهلاً
And
فيكم.
we would like to welcome you in our session under the title Tracking Digital Violence Against Female Journalists in MENA, Uncovering Truth and Experimenting with Solutions. Today we are here in order to discuss an issue that goes beyond that it is only a problem. It is a humanitarian crisis that affects the freedom of expression, the dignity of women, and her right to enjoy a safe environment. This doesn't affect the individual, but the whole society. The voices of women are being suppressed and undermines their role in media and defending the just causes. My name is Ala Mufleh, and I work as a regional advisor, and I shall be facilitating our session today with a number of speakers. Before starting with the questions, allow me to introduce to you our speakers for today. I would like to start with Ms. Sausan Zaide, the head of research and information and research at King Hussein Center Foundation. Sausan works at promoting the issues of violence in the curricula and to increase the awareness about that phenomenon. And Ms. Rania Asaraira, we would like to welcome her, the founder of the Jordanian Network for Combat Violence Against a Woman, and she is an activist and always tried to provide a safe environment for the female journalists operating in the digital sphere. We also have Dr. Mariam Nouar. She is a professor at University Investment in Algeria, and she writes stories for the youth that focus on digital violence. And Sausan is a quite creator and inventor. And last but not least, we have Raad Al-Sharif, the regional director for SECDEF in the MENA region. And allow us to start with Ms. Sausan with the question that might pave the way to understand the phenomena of violence or to understand the dimensions of such a phenomena. Can you tell us how we can integrate digital violence in the university curriculum in the region, and are there any successful examples which can be mentioned? Good morning. I am quite delighted to be in ARIJ forum with you when we thought about the universities, and here we are going to talk about our experience in Jordan, and hopefully it will be a nucleus that will be replicated to other areas later on. We thought of universities from two aspects. One is that the female students can be in the age category that could be most harmed by digital violence, and also it is the category that has the capacity to introduce a change in that field. And our philosophy is that we have addressed the three colleges, and we have selected the university which has the faculty of law, media, and IT. These are the three main components which can help us develop an intervention in order to introduce a change in that field. The idea was to begin with those students and also in parallel with the faculty. And our philosophy was to start with the faculty in order to engage them in the topic and in order to ensure that there will be our partners in further activities which we might be implementing. And the beginning was quite optimistic. As a matter of fact, we have felt that the members of the faculty were quite aware of the magnitude of this problem, and they believed that we can introduce a change through the curricula. Now the change can be gradual and over different stages. The beginning can be by introducing basic issues related to digital violence, whether these are the causes or consequences or statistics. And of course, we have our partners, the unit of electronic crimes that were providing us with the statistics. All those issues have been presented to the member of the faculty in order to include them in relevant lectures at the university and the different activities, whether graduation, thesis, or other lectures. Our purpose was to increase the awareness of the students about that problem and also to come out with solution. When we talk about the IT faculty, we can make them IT college. We can a request from them to develop a new platform or apps in order to receive the different complaints. Also, the media colleges, whether through direct contact with the public or to deliver such information to the public. Now, we have relied on previous experiences in Jordanian universities and how we can use the curriculum and introducing changes in the society. We have seen that during the last years that the universities have introduced material about human rights, about pedagogy, and we have relied on creating a culture among the universities that there is a social responsibility and not only an academic responsibility towards their students. And this is why we were optimistic about that experience, and hopefully later on it will be replicated in other countries. If we would like to talk more about the awareness campaigns, I would like to address my question to Ms. Rania. Ms. Rania, could you tell us how the network was successful in utilizing awareness campaign and introducing a change at the level of the society? Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Allah. The network might be quite nascent. It has been established in 2022. And the first purpose of the network, we had actually two goals. One is to put this goal on the table and to start talking about the violence which is being practiced against the female journalist in Jordan, and do we have this kind of violence or not. The beginning was to gather details and information about the severity of this problem in Jordan and its magnitude, and then we wanted to know how we can give tools to the female journalists to defend themselves from this kind of violence. How, for example, they can deal with the issue of digital safety and integrity. We started with advocacy campaigns, and those advocacy campaigns started from a survey that has been conducted by the network, and it targeted 1,200 female journalists, and 55% of the female journalists have admitted that they have been subject to some kind of digital violence. And some of the questions have shown that it had a big impact on the female journalists, whether psychological or material. And one of the shocking outcomes of that survey is that certain female journalists had to change their career. For example, female journalist used to appear on TV. She started taking a different career, or to become an editor and not to appear on TV. This will entail a slower progress, a different job, and some female journalists, they have quit the career at all, the profession of a journalist, as the result of the violence they have been subjected to. And also, we started conducting awareness campaign for the colleagues, the female journalists. A large number of the female journalists have attended those training, and how they can address the issue of digital violence. I believe that I can say with a lot of modesty that we were successful. At least, I mean, we started that dialogue, at least between the different associations, and that it is a severe problem, and that violence doesn't need to be physical violence, even the digital violence. And it is some kind of violence that needs to be faced, and that was the main problem. The other thing has to do with details maybe we were not aware of. For example, if we want to develop a legislative framework in order to prevent this kind of violence, Jordan is the environment enabling to combat violence against the female journalist or not. And then we have discovered that most of the Jordanian laws are really good laws, but have not tackled in one way or another the digital violence, and in particular in the workplace. And then we started thinking how, for example, we can do an integration of the policies. Let's talk about policies that might be helping us address digital violence against female journalists in Jordan. At the beginning of the year, after analyzing 19 bylaws of media outlets in Jordan, we have discovered that none of the media outlets in Jordan, their bylaws included anything about a mechanism or clauses in order to combat digital violence against female journalists. There is nothing mentioned whatsoever about the digital violence, and even the complaint mechanism in case, for example, she has been subjected to any kind of violence, to whom should she contact, or what can she do. And 42% of our colleague journalists that have reported the cases of violence, the media outlets were saying that this is a personal issue. You have been subjected to that. We have nothing to do with it. And many of the journalists say that we can do nothing because there isn't a legislative framework. And this is something that we are currently working on. It is that there needs to be different mechanism and different policies that combat and prevent violence against female journalists in Jordan. Maybe you have mentioned the main impediments and the challenges facing the female journalist, and also you talked how the network dealt with those challenges. Yesterday, we were lucky to be present in the activity that launched this network. And could you give us a future outlook, how or what are the main challenges which your network will be focusing on, at least in the next period of time? Well, it is a challenge, but it is a dream in order to reach an environment that is totally free from all forms of violence. For female journalists and male journalists, the most important thing we would like to work on, and we always say that we are going to organize awareness campaign and the training. This is based on a need, and currently we have received requests from journalists in Irbit, Tafila, Karak, North and South. All of them, they are asking to organize training courses on combating digital violence. We hope that next year will include more training, and also from a legislative point of view is to engage the different media outlets because they need to address seriously the cases of digital violence. And you know that the labor law has been amended last year, and there has been an article that talks about violence, or rather, harassment in the workplace. This has to be linked to the labor law, to the ILO Convention 190, and we need to develop policies that combat digital violence. My next question will be now. We know that there is a huge amount of information in the digital arena, and all the issues which are being presented every day. Maybe it is difficult to really attract the attention of the target audience. So the question might be addressed to Dr. Mariam. Dr. Mariam, why writing stories to the youth and in particular the girls about digital violence important at the current time? Good morning. As a matter of fact, writing stories, I see that it is not only an entertainment, but I see that it is a very important awareness tool in the current time. And we need to concert all the efforts, the family, the school, the civil society organization, the press, etc., by writing to the teenagers. Those concepts will become more apparent and clear to them by giving certain characters that will be reflecting the different experiences. And I write mainly to the female teenagers because they are more subject to digital violence, electronic bullying, electronic harassment, and we need to write more in order to break the barrier of silence. On the other hand, the girls getting to know this kind of stories will make them aware about their rights by giving them an inspirational examples of girls that have been successful in combating digital violence. This will encourage the girls in one way or another to have self-confidence that she is capable of protecting herself in this digital sphere. And when we talk about girls that face the same challenges, the girl will not feel that she is alone. And maybe this will help her empower. This will help empower the victims and provide them with the strategies in order to combat this digital abuse, whether by telling them about the ways of reporting and working the filing complaint. We work particularly on girls, but I had last year a story for the girls from 13 to 17 of age, and this has been given a lot of attention from the side of the male teenagers, and the story I tried through it to address the relation of the boys with the machine through electronic games. What is this kind of relation with the machine? How can we deal with it? How can we deal with the issues that might arise in the surrounding environment? By writing this type of stories, we can ask certain ethical questions about the digital space, about the freedom of expression. What are the limits in the digital world? What the level of privacy? And most importantly, the personal and collective responsibility which we need to adhere to in the digital world. I believe that we need to further increase that awareness because that teenager will be the new future doctor, the future mother, the future journalist. We need to work on this kind of awareness in order to build on the long term this enlightened society. Thank you. And also to complement what you have said, could you tell us how, for example, this have affect the new media did affect your writing style? Anyone that would like to use the story as a platform in order to shed the light over certain societal issues? Me, I believe that the knowledge base is quite important in this type of writing. Me, being specialized in the new media and a researcher in the digital writing, we need to analyze that phenomena. We try to analyze the patterns of using the digital sphere, how, for example, we can use the digital tools in order to cause harm, and why, for example, certain girls have been subjected to this kind of digital violence. Are there certain reasons which make us subjected to this kind of violence? So I believe that using the research and this type of writings might help us develop a certain work that might gather technology with a humanitarian dimension. The people we are writing to are young. When we talk about brain drain and when subjected to the content of digital, when we talk about how, for example, the use of filters and this make them subject to digital attacks and be also subject to electronic bullying. So using the scientific research will boost the idea of criticisms for the girls or the boys. We can present the double impact of the technology as a tool for improvement and as a tool for harming. And now we are not talking from void, we're talking about a actual fact that happened in the society, and we can utilize it through those different stories. And combining between the idea of scientific research or the use of scientific research in writing stories addressed to the boys will be an important awareness tool, and also could be a bridge in order to understand the intricate relation between the human being and the technology. And most importantly, through that, maybe this will enable us to create and strike a certain balance between the ordinary life and the digital life, and the violence they are subjected to. There is another violence in reality. There is another violence in the digital world, and the results of the digital violence might also have a similar type of effects, not less than the real violence. My question is addressed to Dr. Raed about the importance of scientific research and the projects that rely on data or facts. Dr. Raed, if you can tell us more about some of the projects. Of course, we are proud of the partnership between us and between Effective Foundation. How, for example, many of those projects or many of those researchers shed the light over such kind of cases and help to change some policies. If you could tell us also about certain gaps that still exist in the field of scientific research and the gathering of data in order to support that action. Good morning. I am really delighted to be among this elite panel. And also, I would like to thank the Canadian Research for International Development that enabled us to be together in order to share our results and findings with you. And also, I would like to thank the Canadian Center is that it gave us the opportunity as Sector Foundation to obtain positive outcomes related to the digital violence in the Arab world. And before talking about the findings which we have reached, allow me to go back to 2018 when I started working on digital safety, integrity, and the digital violence against boys and girls in the Arab world. In 2019, there wasn't anything at the Arab Library, whether recommendation or research or studies related to digital safety or digital violence. violence. And this was quite saddening at that time. But thank God, after 5 years, we feel that through the work which we have done with different countries around the world, we have reached that digital violence and digital safety exist in the dialogue between the different people. And also, I would like to thank the local partners in particular. We were able to draw the attention of different public institutions, civil society, and academia to this phenomena. Now, after 5 years of continuous work with different partners, and in particular the National Library, we were able to develop 40 researches about digital violence against women in the Arab world. We have 18 reports from various countries, and we have case studies related to female journalists and women engaged in the political work, and we have 5 studies about digital violence against women in countries of conflict, and we have a large number of studies. How do we see the impact of this data and outcomes and recommendations? We have 3 ways or 3 strategies which we work on them in tandem. Now, everybody knows that we use this data and those recommendations in order to develop policy papers, and we contact directly the decision makers, the legislators, males and female, and this takes place through local partners in all the countries of the Arab world. And allow me to draw your attention to something that is really important, our strategy in order to reaching the decision makers. I would like to mention that the most important element was the Arab female journalists, and in particular the Jordanian female journalists, because we had a strong conviction in order to reach those decision makers. We need to work with the female journalists. And in 2018 and 2019, my colleague Rania, when we started talking about digital violence, our colleagues, the female journalists, said something that is quite important, that one, they are afraid to be exposed to more digital violence, and the second is that they do not have the capability nor the knowledge and data in order to address this phenomena in a serious manner. So we started dealing with the journalists as being leaders, and this made our work easier. One is that we need to directly contact the decision makers, male and female. The second is that we need to create a societal movement between the female journalists by building their capacity and by giving the opportunity to establish alliances and the groups and assemblies, and to enable the female journalists themselves. Because when we increase the awareness from inside the house, the awareness will also have a spillover effect outside the house. Now, the third point, in my opinion, is that we need to reach the data recommendation and the awareness which we have reached, and to create a social dialogue. I am totally convinced that our effect on decision making and the legislation will be much bigger when the society itself will start talking about those issues and with great attention. And the last point, I would like to mention that all of that wouldn't have happened without the local partnership. And I would like to mention one important point. We ARIJ, we know that it is providing government support, and we have civil society and international organization providing us with the support. I believe that the local partners in any work that is implemented in the Arab countries need to be the first and utmost target in those countries, but not only at the level of implementation. In many areas, we see that in our Arab countries, we are being forced to implement certain priorities and details and methodologies. But we have all these details and goals, and you just have to implement. My plea, and this is what we have tried with the local partners need to be actual and real partners from the blueprints and from the first thoughts about the program to be implemented, and then the implementation and the evaluation. And we need to have a strong network of local partners. Thank you, Dr. La. That's a question to our speakers today. If you had the opportunity to introduce a radical change that will limit the phenomena of digital violence, what kind of change you would like to see? I believe that we need hours in order to answer that question. I believe that there needs to be strict and stringent laws and also the mechanism in order to enforce those laws. Furthermore, and I refer to what was mentioned by Dr. Ryle, is that we need to have a societal dialogue, and this could be through awareness campaigns in which we can engage the different categories of the society, and also to engage what is known now by the influencers in order to expand our sphere of impact, and also to create safe platforms in order to report digital violence. I believe that the woman that was subjected to digital violence, if she was safe and she was safe to report that case, she will be reporting those cases, and this will enable us find solutions. I might agree with the doctor. Most important thing is that we need to have a legislative environment that protect everybody from all ages and from all forms of violence, whether digital or non-digital. But as a result of the complaints and the cases we see now, yesterday night we have received complaint number 237, and now from the complaints which we have seen and the reports, the female journalist is the psychological support that need to be provided to the female journalists, how the female journalist feel that she is alone facing this kind of violence. But also, and I'm sorry to say that the people that are supposed to support her, whether from the government or security agencies, all the people will tell her, well, stay strong, and nobody knows and recognize how much she needs support, whether psychological or legal. What I really wish is that not to leave the female journalist alone facing this kind of violence, which I call a silent violence.
Two quick ideas to comment on what have we said. I believe in supporting journalist unions and syndicats have it all, and this is the absent role. And usually, really, they are avoiding this role because their main role is to protect the journalists in this field. Another thing that is related to returning to the statistics and we need a database not only to specify the size of the problem, but also the divisions within these numbers. To be able to analyze where is the problem, how is it happening. We are in need to numbers that will reflect the numbers of those who were subjected to this type of violence, but also internal divisions, the reason of this attack, the age. And all of these are linked fully with the official entities and governmental entities that really own these statistics. So we hope that they would be available in between the hands of the study centers and the means of media as well. Well, quickly speaking, my colleagues have covered all of the important aspects, but I believe that among the successful ways of combating digital violence, that we should look at it not as if it's a technical issue only. Some of the main problems that I face in work is that when we speak with institutions and activists, they believe that the digital safety and digital violence, it is only a technical issue related to passwords, but we look at it in a comprehensive way that includes the emotional and legal aspect, the policies and educational and technical aspects. Without looking at this dilemma in a comprehensive manner, we will not be able to find solutions that are active and positive. So this is a call for all of the local and international partners to communicate together to look at this in a comprehensive manner. Thank you, Doctor. Perhaps a couple of questions that we have received from those participants online. If you allow me, the first question from Mr. Tariq Adweki. How would the digital harassment through WhatsApp is handled, and what are the legal follow-up measures on that? So among the complaints that we have reached through the past 2 years, well, and the things that we try to assist our colleagues, it is based on the experience. So when you tell my female journalist to resort to your institution, if it was a professional violence, then we find that most of the responses are coming from the media outlets themselves. I cannot assist you because I don't have an internal system, or I don't have a law that I could handle, or that this is a private thing related to you. If you want to take them to this is the main problem. Well, of course, these are massive efforts for the cybercrime unit in Jordan. They work well and amazingly, but this is what happens with the female journalist in her institutions. It happens also in governmental and security institutions. They handle these complaints as if it is as any other person, whether a male or a female, who was subjected to digital violence. So it is not that she has faced this violence because of her work as a journalist, because they handle the defenders of human rights and female attorneys, but not journalists. So these people, they have a hotline when they want to go to report violence. So another thing, that is the need based on the Jordanian law. Any person who wants to file a complaint, they need to go to the public prosecutor, and then they can go, and the repetition of the narration of the story, this also could cause a problem for the female journalist. So usually, the advice that we give for our female journalists, that they need to strengthen themselves. They need to know the digital safety, how to protect their accounts, how to protect their data, whether on their laptop or on the phone or anywhere. And the other thing that we always try to raise their awareness, to work with the media institutions. If your colleague have came and it's an individual case, it is not a systematic way that we speak with the media institution. We tell them this is not a digital violence she faced because she's a female. No, because she's a journalist and she's working with you in this profession. So this will assist us everywhere. And I want to confirm what my colleague Susan have mentioned. That is the issue of associations. The role of associations in Jordan is way away from this file about the protection of female and male journalists with all of their rights, not only the digital ones. And I don't know if any of our colleagues would like to speak about, well, rumors spread quickly in the virtual online, especially in the cases of violence and conflict areas. So rumors and spreading disinformation, is it a type of digital violence? And this question is for Ms. Sana. Well, as for the digital violence is is a problem in many countries of the world. But the problem is deeper in the countries of the conflict. Well, that is related to different region, lack of security stability, not having any people who are dealing with this topic. Unfortunately, the question is very important in light of the current conflicts, rumors, and this information are more sometimes are more spontaneous, and unfortunately, women and girls are highly targeted. But because there is a number of the assaulters, we don't have laws from the civil society to protect that, or from the legal entities. We work on that in Silka Foundation since about 10 years. Awareness and awareness and awareness, and this is very important. And we try with all of our efforts to to send awareness, to send awareness all over. It is not only on the internet and the social media. We have a term that is called the digital clinic. The digital clinic that would provide technical services for the victims and for those who are subjected to violence personally, if possible. And also, we have other cooperation with the civil society. We cannot be, as an institution, supporting or implementing projects in all of the countries and in all of the cities. We try to also to meet local partners to be able to process or handle this issue. The question is very complex than that, and we try to assist in that. Thank you. Would you like to ask any question on the participants from the hall? So, having no questions, we have 2 minutes, so we will have a place for a last question. Perhaps also the question that we have addressed, but final notes from the speakers. How could we use the technology in a positive manner to protect female journalists from digital violence? There is something that was really funny on the WhatsApp group for my colleague, female journalists have said, I want to link it to the technology. Now, most of the female journalists who are on this group, they feel that it's a safe space, and it's a very important a safe space, not only to share their experiences, but in general, perhaps they will exchange resources, an opinion on a certain material, even discussing local or international issues. And they also send pictures, their pictures, personal pictures, as if it's the family group. And we used to tell them that this is not a family group. So the issue of technology, how could we provide that? Well, honestly speaking, on the group, we select a number of the female colleagues, and we, like Josa, for example, and we ask them that we need 5 or 6 journalists to inspect their phones. And another thing that was serious for our female colleagues, that the issue when the WhatsApp is hacked, when my laptop is hacked, it is not only that the device have been damaged. No, but most of the time, most of the journalists, they have important mobiles for 10 days of work. She lost all of these numbers. Sometimes sensitive data on the same device, information. For example, confidential files for her personal life. So you need to be very aware of what you put on your laptop. Colleagues, well, it's a long talk about that, and what we spoke about today, it stresses the participatory approach to have a common belief, to create a safe space, to eliminate violence against everybody, all of the community. Thank you. I would like to thank the speakers for today. And we are happy with what is happening on reality. And even if it was a short brief, I hope that what we speak today is an actual work in reality. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you.